If your Saab 9-3 is throwing injector codes P0201, P0202, P0203, and P0204, then this video is for you. Now, all 4 fuel injectors don't typically fail at the same time. Most often, it's the ECM. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly what fails in the ECM, why it fails, and how to fix it. This is going to be an advanced component level repair, which is why we offer a mail-in repair service, which I'll link in the description down below. This ECM was sent in by a customer experiencing all 4 codes. Let's install it and live test it in our vehicle. We're going to go ahead and start the car. And the car sounds pretty smooth. I'm not hearing any issues with the engine stuttering. Let's go ahead and check for codes with the laptop. And right now I'm not triggering any codes, so I'm going to let it idle for a bit. We're going to rev. And it's looking like, as of right now, we're not triggering any codes. Okay, yeah, so it says there are no pending stored permanent diagnostic codes. Let's refresh. Still nothing. So we're gonna let the car idle for about 5 minutes. I'll rev a few more times. If we're still not able to trigger the codes, then we'll go ahead and take the car out for a couple mile drive and see if we can trigger them then. All right, we've just hit about that 5-minute mark, so we're gonna go ahead and close the hood and take the car for a spin. And we'll reconvene in a bit. So I just got back from about a quarter mile of driving, and after I think my 3rd acceleration, I lost all my turbo and went into a partial limp mode. So let's see if we triggered any of those codes. All right, so let's go ahead and refresh. Hey, look at that. So we have P0201, P0202, P0203, P0204, but we're also triggering P0245 and P0246 as well. So to me, that does confirm that the ECM is the issue since we're triggering all 4 codes at the exact same time. So let's remove the ECM and bring it to our bench. One more thing I wanted to point out is that we just right now started triggering our check engine light, which we weren't a second ago. I've already opened up the ECM and we're going to be focusing on this chip over here. This chip is the main processor inside of the ECM. The chip itself doesn't typically fail. What does is the solder bonds that connect it to the rest of the ECM. Over time, with the car running, everything gets hot and expands. When the car is off, everything cools down and contracts. The expansion and contraction happening over and over for years is what creates microfractures in the solder joints between the chip and the rest of the circuit board. In order to fix this issue, what we'll need to do is remove the chip off of the board. We'll remove all the old solder, put brand new fresh solder, and reattach the chip. Once we do that, we should no longer have our fuel injector codes. As you may have noticed, this chip doesn't have any legs. It is a BGA type chip, which means that it sits on a ball grid array. In order to remove the chip, we are going to have to use our rework machine. So let's bring the ECM to our rework machine and show you the repair process. The rework machine heats the processor chip from the top and the ECM from the bottom at the same time, bringing everything up to the solder's melting point. This process usually takes about 7 minutes. Before removing the chip, we give it a slight nudge to confirm the solder has fully reflowed. You won't be able to see it on camera, but it did move, which tells us the chip is ready to be removed. Next, we apply flux. This helps the solder flow more evenly as we remove it using a soldering iron. Once most of the solder is removed, we use desolder braid, also known as wick, to clean up the remaining solder from the pads. With the solder cleared, we clean the area using 99% isopropyl alcohol to remove any leftover flux residue. Now we apply fresh flux in preparation for reinstallation. At this point, we move on to reballing the chip. The chip itself isn't defective. The issue lies with the solder balls, so we remove all the old fractured solder and replace it with new solder. Next, we use a stencil to precisely align new solder balls onto the chip. Once everything is aligned, we apply hot air to melt the solder balls and bond them to the chip. Now the reball chip is ready to be installed back onto the ECM. As we reach the end of the heating profile, we once again give the chip a gentle nudge to confirm proper solder flow. If the solder has reflowed correctly, the chip will settle back into position. If not, it will stay out of place, indicating the solder didn't reach the proper temperature. So we haven't closed the ECM back up. We're going to do a static test, meaning we're just plugging it in without driving the car around. We're going to use the negative of the battery to ground it with this jumper cable. And we just want to make sure that the car turns on and that there's no issues with our repair before we commit to actually closing it up. So we'll just let the car idle for another 5 minutes, revving intermittently, just like we did before the repairs. As long as the codes are not being triggered, we'll go ahead and close it up, and then we'll do some extended driving with it. All right, so we've been idling for about 5 minutes, and I just refreshed their codes. We are not triggering anything at this time, so we're gonna go ahead and take it out for a test drive. I just finished 3 separate long test drives, about 10 miles each, for a total of 35 miles. As you can see, we are not triggering our check engine lights. Looking at the computer here, we're gonna refresh codes. We have no codes, and we did drive 35.81 miles. So that confirms it. We have a successful repair. We'll remove the ECM, do a proper seal with gasket, and send it back to the customer. If you found the video helpful or useful, leave us a like, subscribe for more content, and thank you for watching.